Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 9 of my playthrough Pokemon Colosseum, all Shadow Pokemon. It is time to visit this giant treehouse. Very cool. I love the aesthetic of the houses in this game and the areas in this game.
Grandpa Egan, Grandma Bella, I missed you.
Sorry, no, welcome. We heard that you were coming, but then you didn't arrive. We were worried about you, dear.
You finally arrived. What held you up?
I had just this terrible time. On the way here, I was abducted by these creepy people. Luckily, I was saved by Gamerman, who happened to be there by coincidence.
Oh, how frightful. Thank you so much for saving our granddaughter. But why would anyone want to harm Sarina?
It's probably because I can see these bizarre Pokemon. They're Shadow Pokemon. Pokemon that have been turned into fighting machines with hearts of darkness.
Shadow Pokemon? What on earth is that?
Well... Help! There's trouble! Egan, it's a serious situation. Some outsiders went into the Relic Forest.
What? What are they?
I don't know. They shoved me aside and...
That's enough talk. It can wait. I'm off. Okay. Looks like it's my turn to be off. Alright, so one thing I absolutely adore about Pokemon Colosseum is not only how different the areas are, but how, like, vastly different they are from anything you see in any other Pokemon game. It's crazy. It's so cool. Like, Agate Village, this is nothing like anything we've ever seen before. Neither is Fennec City, to be honest. Look at you.
Hey, what? Here comes another meddler. That old man earlier, he trampled me when I let down my guard, but that won't happen again.
Are you sure, Cipher Dovin? I think I'm going to be able to trample you. Spheal and Carvana, and this is the reason why. You're using pretty poor Pokemon. Quilava. I meant to switch out Quilava, but I guess it's okay. These are both water types. So I'm going to have to switch him out regardless. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't want either of those Pokemon to be caught and on my team. Espeon, Psybeam. They should both attack Quilava if they have water moves, but then again, sometimes Pokemon Colosseum demonstrates that AI back in the day wasn't just wasn't intelligent enough. And that's perfectly fine, actually. There's a lot of people who will say, well, you know, it's not good enough and it needs to be better in order to have a good time. One of the craziest ways to enjoy old school gaming is to understand the mechanics and the flaws of said game and then take advantage of them. And maybe that's not for everybody, you know, because not everybody, even in the Fire Emblem franchise, fan base, I should say, likes a game like Thracia, which is literally a game in which you can break apart. But I happen to be one of those people who loves games you can break apart. I love that the AI isn't always just all-knowing, all-powerful, you know. Player defeated Cipher Dovin.
Ouchies!
Goodbye, Cipher Peon. Thank you for the money. That's appreciated. I always enjoy extra cash.
Why are the villagers here so ridiculously strong?
Well, because they are all previously ace trainers. Isn't that the case? Pokemon... Having Quilava out would actually be kind of good, though. I need him in hyper mode. But he fainted in the last boss battle, so... No, forget about it. You're not going any further. Sorry for Peon. Stilton would like to battle. Are you related to Stilton Cheese? Shroomish and Cacnea. So this is actually a hilariously good fight to be using Quilava in. I'm actually hoping that my Flame Wheel causes me to go into Hyper Mode. Wouldn't be great for the, need to attack and KO these opponents, but, Cacnea is really the only somewhat of a semi-threat here, and I don't think he's really a threat. Psybeam. Very grateful that Espeon finally has a decent Psychic type move. Of course, 65 base power is nothing really compared to the higher base power moves, 80, 90, 100 plus base power moves, but she's going to eventually get Psychic. Flame Wheel. And no Hyper Mode. Definitely want Hyper Mode before I enter the Relic Forest. Cipher Peon Stilton defeated. Roadblock attempt failed. Yes, it was failed. More moolah for moi. Oh, phooey! I'm not feeling well today. Everybody has his excuses.
Boo, foo. Scared you, didn't I?
Cipher Peon Cass would like to battle. Such strange name. Baltoy and Ralts. So I actually considered Baltoy as well. Using Baltoy Claydol. I think Claydol is a very underrated Pokemon, especially in Gen 3. But I just couldn't justify it. Would be cool to have a Psychic Ground type that levitates for more Earthquake shenanigans. But I have some better options. Some more interesting options. Hopefully, very soon, I can use some of those interesting options. Let's go, Flame Wheel, or no. How about Shadow Rush? And return. It's probably for the better to double down on an opponent Pokemon right now, like Baltoy, because Baltoy has a ton of defenses. But Baltoy also doesn't have good offense at all. I mean, even Claydol doesn't really have great offenses. It's one of the reasons why Claydol isn't so loved. But the interesting thing about it is that regardless of that, Baltoy has a lot, and I mean a lot of utility in Gen 3. Alright, your Shadow Rush did next to nothing. And I think I'm going to... maybe Shadow Rush into you? Or, actually, how about we Flame Wheel into Baltoy? Because this is pretty much the last opportunity I'm going to have to get into Hyper Mode before the start of the next major fight. Kirlia fainted. Return might not be coming off of a huge amount of attack from Espeon, but it's still doing its job. 102 base power is pretty insane. No Hyper Mode yet. Aha. Attacking Quilava with Shadow Rush. He did pretty decent damage too. So what I think I'm going to do here is Flame Wheel one more time just to try and get this Hyper Mode going. Reflect. Hopefully it goes, but nah, it did not. Quilava is unfortunately going to be entering the next fight without Hyper Mode, which is a downside because very soon, I am going to be no longer really using Shadow Pokemon. Player defeated Cipher Peon Cass.
I'm shocked over this loss.
A bunch of money in this cave, thank you.
Little boy, you're shockingly strong.
I try my absolute best. And a Super Potion. I actually need more potions. I know I have Hyper Potions. Let's put you, here? And use a Super on you. And let's go.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Although you may ask why we are here, we simply cannot answer that. I can see that you are a senior citizen, but I cannot allow you to interfere with our affairs. You're the ones interfering. Shady creeps like you, I'll personally run out. Now, someone as old shouldn't overdo it. Don't take me for a fool. I'll have you know I was once hailed the most powerful trainer. That isn't all, either. I have a comrade with whom I've been through thick and thin. This is the first Pokemon I got, and it's been with me ever since. Okay, Pikachu, we haven't battled this much in a while. Let's keep focused. And that right there is the reason why a lot of people assume and like to fan theory about Egan being either Ash himself, or Red himself, I should say. Not really Ash, Red, or like the son of Red. Because we are talking about this is supposed to be taking place in the far future, dystopian future, like post-apocalyptic future kind of deal. Shadow Hitmontop, much lower level than this Pikachu, just utterly beating the Pikachu, which is, you know, reasonably understandable because Pikachu is a terrible Pokemon. I don't know why anybody like picks up this Pokemon, even if you evolve Pikachu or use the Light Ball with a Pikachu. You're not really doing much of anything with that Pokemon. Honestly, there's so many better electric type Pokemon. It's insane. Even in Gen 1, there were better electric types. Didn't I already say? An old man shouldn't overdo it.
Grandpa, Pikachu! Pika, Pika! How dare you? You'll never get away with this.
Now here's someone who may show me a more enjoyable time. Very well, on guard. Cipher Beyond Scrub would like to battle. Hilarious, his name. Geodude and Clamperl. Not exactly a great matchup with Quilava. Probably going to have to switch out here, actually. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out Quilava into Umbreon, and I'm also going to set up a Reflect. Most of his team are physical attackers, and pretty strong ones at that. Geodude is nothing to scoff at for a pre-evolved Pokemon with his power, let alone that he does have a Hitmontop. It's pretty obvious that that's the case. And that is the Shadow Pokemon you're supposed to be catching from this certain Cipher Peon fight. And Iron Defense, huh? Alright, Umbreon. I think maybe Bite into Clamperl, Psybeam into Clamperl, and that's just because like I'm not going to hit Geodude. I'm going to far and away outspeed him, even if we were at the same level. Very nice, very nice. Chunking you with a ton of damage. Hitmontop is coming out with Intimidate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, unfortunately, I am not a big fan of Hitmontop or any of the Hitmons, period. I just don't like them. I don't like their design, don't like their concept. Yeah, you're not doing much with a Reflect Up in Umbreon's humongous defenses. Bite on Geodude and Psybeam on Hitmontop. This might be a one-hit KO. Close, but not quite. I know the Hitmons actually have an insane amount of special defense from the physical special split, or no, the special stat split of Gen 1 to 2, which makes sense. Double Edge, Reflect was, it's coming in handy, absolutely. Psybeam. And because I outspeed, both of your Pokemon are going down. This is actually an incredibly difficult boss fight if you are not raising your Espeon. And why not? One of the most interestingly hilariously exploitable Pokemon in all of Pokemon, which is wild because he is typically banned in a lot of instances in competitive battling. And it's funny because if you have even the remotest ability to just like say no to him using things like Mirror Coat and so on and so forth, you just don't have to deal with it. The Helping Hand seemed kind of pointless. I could have just called, but it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. So I'm using Taunt here. Reflect wore off. Don't need the Reflect anymore. Gonna Secret Power. And going to Reflect again. Don't really need the Reflect, but again, I'm being cautious here. Confuse Ray first. Yes, Confusion kind of is one of the parts of the banes of this Pokemon. So we're going to Secret Power, and I think maybe not Psy Beam. Return would probably do more damage. And Secret Power has that percentage chance to either confuse or paralyze here. I'm not sure what it would do in this instance. Mirror Coat did not work. And return. And Secret Power again. Yeah, it's funny because even Wynot got banned from high-level play, which is funny because Wynot is absolutely not a good Pokemon. But just having the combination of Shadow Tag alongside his massive HP and capability of using things like Destiny Bond and Mirror Coat and Counter just kind of really blows the roof off of the house when it comes to competitive battling. You just can't deal with it sometimes. But if you have the ability to deal with it, it's kind of like a non-threat. I should have declined. Yes, you should have. I had been instructed to capture Celebi, then destroy the Relic Stone, but matters have not gone according to plan. I shall have to immediately inform Dakim, who has gone to Mount Battle.
Grandpa, are you okay?
I'm fine, but my partner... you're safe? Good, good. You battled with honor. If your opponent was any ordinary Pokemon, you would have won. So that was a Shadow Pokemon. Sarina and Gamerman, am I right? Thank you for helping us. We should go home for the time being.
You really had me worried. Please don't do anything so rash and dangerous again.
I'm sorry, dear, but I couldn't very well let them have their way. Those crooks, they said they were out to capture Celebi and destroy the Relic Stone. Why? Might there be a connection between Celebi and Shadow Pokemon?
Oh no, that's no good. We came here because we thought you would know something, Grandpa.
Sorry to disappoint you. Oh yes, dear. Didn't we have a stone tablet that had something about the Celebi, or the relic carved into it?
Ah, yes. Yes, we did have such a stone tablet. Now where could I have put it away? Let me go look for it upstairs. It may take time, so please be patient.
While she's looking, you might try gathering more information on Celebi, Sarina. Go see an old man named Senilor. He lives near the Pokemon down the hill. Senilor is the authority when it comes to Celebi, that is, if he remembers. Alright, time to check on the next lead, which would be Senilor. And that man happens to be already met. He was in this house right here.
Ah, you're Egan's beloved Torchic. No, wait. Who did you say you were? Was that you wanted to ask me, Senilor, about Celebi? Have no fear, no problems. Forget something that important? That's not going to happen. Let me start with the relic in the Relic Forest. According to ancient lore, the relic is said to hold the power of time travel for Celebi. That mystical power is said to revive the most pleasant, most enjoyable memories of Pokémon. If only it worked on me and brought back memories of my youth. Ho 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 ho. Isn't that sad? Would you like to hear more? Sure, I would love to hear more. To meet Celebi directly, you must use an item called the Time Flute. That is all one needs to bring Celebi to the Relic Forest. Celebi will shortly cause darkness to flee from the hearts of any Pokémon. Very intriguing. I actually have another option. Not really to see Celebi, but to purify Quilava. That is something that I can do right at this very moment because Quilava's heart gauge, those purple bars underneath his character, are empty. And all you have to do is visit the Relic Stone in the Relic Forest when a Pokemon's bars are empty. Unfortunately, right now I can't do that, but I wanted to get the Ein file. Ein file C is written on the file's cover. Read it? Sure. Celebi's power. The purification of Shadow Pokemon has several factors. Celebi appears to have the power to boost the purification process. If a Shadow Pokemon encounters a Celebi, it recalls how its heart was before being closed, and reverts to its original form. The Relic Stone of Agate Village also appears to have the power to complete the purification process. These factors must be eliminated if our Shadow Pokemon plan is to succeed. Shadow Pokemon Lab Chief Ein. I recently watched a video where the tuber in question was trying to basically, I want to say like fan theory canonize the idea that Cipher and them are like an offshoot of Team Rocket, and that Team Rocket is really the masterminds behind the idea of Shadow Pokemon. Get absolutely out of here. Like, actually get out of here. Stop shoehorning Kanto into everything like Game Freak does. Honestly. No, seriously. Stop doing that. If you are one of those people, stop doing that. Game Freak does it enough. You don't need to be doing it also. This game is insanely good. The Ore region is insanely amazing, and it happens to be because it was made by somebody who isn't Game Freak. And fortunately for me, this is going to be forever emboldened in the history books of gaming, or the history pages of gaming, in that it cannot be just destroyed. It is an old school game that has come and gone, and it can't be changed and destroyed. Because the Cipher is interesting. Team Rocket, by and large, isn't really interesting. And trying to make Team Rocket like this overseer of Cipher and Team Snaggin and stuff like that is, man, just wild how people try to fan theory things that just don't exist. Sorry, no, welcome home. I finally found the small tablet. That is the small tablet that has been passed down through our family over many generations. Examine it. Gamerman obtained the small tablet. There are words carved into the small tablet. Read the words in Agate's mystic relic, Celebi's power shelters. A heart imprisoned by shadows, its last door shall be opened by the power within. The relic must have some effect on Shadow Pokemon. I will leave that for you to determine for yourselves. Yes, because the protagonist of a Pokemon game must always be the most competent and most capable of all characters.
Oh, Gamerman, your PDA just rang. Oh, right, it must be duking with some news. Quick, let's check it out.
Alright, so you can't leave until you check your PDA email. And I think this is, the first email you get? Yes, it is. Emergency duking of Pirate Town. Gamerman, we've got big trouble. I just got word from our people that Mount Battle's under attack by a mysterious group of thugs. Please, can you go help? We think it's the same group as the one Mirror B belonged to. We're counting on you. Of course. I am the protagonist, after all.
What? Those crooks are loose at Mount Battle now, too? That's awful. We can't let this go on. Gamerman, let's go. Oh, wait. Grandpa, where is Mount Battle anyway?
Mount Battle is to the northeast. You can see it in the distance once you leave the village. Hurry, Sarina.
We shall hurry.
It's time for the news. According to authorities, there is a criminal syndicate that is seeking world domination. It is thought to be linked to the rash of reports from various regions about vicious Pokemon. We hope to bring you additional info on this story as we learn more.
Yes, and this is why I cannot be bothered to buy that Team Rocket just oversees it all. You mean to tell me that Cipher is trying to world dominate under Team Rocket when Team Rocket's trying to do that themselves? Not so sure I buy it. Pokemart is not where I actually want to go. I would like to go to the PC Pokemon Center. And then I would also like to go to the Relic Forest to do the very first purification of one of my Pokemon. And that would be Quilava. Yes, please heal my Pokemon as soon as possible. It would be most appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Get out of here. And time to go down. And some people think that the process of purifying shadow Pokemon is a little bit boring and tedious. What I say to that is you technically don't really have to purify every shadow Pokemon in this game unless you're looking for 100% completion. And then also, even if you were doing it for some, you could actually just leave some Pokemon as shadow Pokemon, because shadow Pokemon, though they can't level, do have some pretty great strengths. There's a Pokemon that may open the door to his heart. And that would be Quilava. Quilava opened the door to his heart. Regained the move Sunny Day. Regained 7,902 experience points. Level 31. Level 32. Obtained a Riven. No nickname. Let me tell you, this is something extremely important that most people will not tell you, and this is not readily available information. But during this generation, if you have a Pokemon and you level that Pokemon up with so much in such an amount of experience points that he skips levels, like you just saw, from 30, he went from 30 to 31 to 32, so he skipped 31. If there was a level up move that he could have learned at 31, he would not receive it. And there is no way in Colosseum to possibly fix this, because there is no move relearner. It's one of the many reasons why I think this game could do with a bit of a change concerning like quality of life improvements. And it literally just has to do with the fact that it's not good game design, that's the thing. But it just happened in Gen 1, 2, and 3. I think this was no longer a thing Gen 4 and onwards, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be Gen 5. So do be careful. This is why you don't see me using my shadow Pokemon a lot, by the way. It might seem counterintuitive, but there are better ways to get your Pokemon out of their shadow form. A good example of this is my Duskull. Look at his heart gauge. It is almost empty, and I have never battled with this Pokemon besides, once? I think I used him once to do, like a single Shadow Rush. He would not lose that much gauge from a single Shadow Rush usage. The reason why he's almost through with his heart gauge entirely is because I'm walking with him. Now, some people will say that this is not a viable strategy, and I haven't done this, so don't think I'm even bothering with this. Any YouTuber who has access to the ability to emulate this game has access to the ability to cheat on this game. So don't trust people who say that they're doing things the hard way. Most people are not, because time is a real thing. But if you are so inclined, you can go right here with your Pokemon. Putting Pokemon in the daycare also works for this too, because every step you get is a point of experience points. And then you can have your character move right here, unplug the controller, and plug it back in. And when you plug it back in, your character will never stop doing this until you stop him, or until you unplug it and plug it back in again. And you can just level up this way. Not only that, but you can also remove heart gauge. I used to do this way back in the day. I think it's just better to just have your Pokemon in your party and walk around with them and do what you can, as much as you possibly can, and not worry too much about necessarily grinding. However, I am coming to the area of this game where grinding is the most powerful and most accessible.
Have you heard? It's quite amazing. Egan and his Pikachu drove away some rotten criminals. He may be old, but I'm guessing that he hasn't lost his touch. The man's to be admired.
I can't remember where the cologne case is, unfortunately. And I do this every time. I did this back when I originally played Pokemon Colosseum on my channel. I could not for the life of me figure out where another one for me. Cool. Another person berry. Didn't really need that. But where the cologne case lady was. And that was really annoying because it was so obvious after I found her. Unfortunately, this is time for me to bid my farewells. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform of choice. While you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.